Underground. 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 Underground.
Greetings, surface dwellers. My name is Michael, and these are my chthonic musings. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the Dragonbane RPG Professions videos. This will be the second of four. In our first video, I covered professions in general, as well as the artisan and bard. So we're going to continue alphabetically for the next three professions: fighter, hunter, and knight. I hope you enjoy it.
Well, of course a warrior must be able to kill things, creatures and monsters and such. Being able to avoid getting killed is also good. Then, well, there are different weapons, different techniques, and anyway, the basis is simple. Kill and avoid dying.
Norbert from Boar Ridge. Fighters earn their living by following the way of the sword. It may, of course, also be the way of the spear or crossbow, but a fighter's specialty is always weapon proficiency and violence. But this is not to say that all fighters are driven by bloodlust. For some, it is a matter of professional pride to achieve the maximum effect with minimal bloodshed. Others are lazy and prefer saber rattling to actual combat. Many fighters are troubled souls, haunted by nightmares and bad memories of a life spent in the company of death. They can therefore be surprisingly sentimental, prone to tears and compassionate embraces. A fighter's key attribute is strength. The profession's skill list includes axes, bows, brawling, crossbows, evade, hammers, spears, and swords. A fighter's heroic ability is veteran. Their gear table includes a variety of weapons and armor, as well as other necessary items. And finally comes the D6 nickname table of sample nicknames, including such entries as Gravemaker and Grimjaw. The veteran heroic ability has a requirement of any weapon skill 12 for those that are acquiring this heroic ability after character generation. The willpower points cost is 1. And it reads as follows. Activating this ability at the start of a combat round allows you to retain your initiative card from the previous round instead of drawing a new one. Doing so does not count as an action. For more information on combat and initiative, see Chapter 4. I also created a video, musing number 28, about rounds and initiative, with my own explanation and some bonus opinions included. What is not needed to become a skilled hunter? Agility, stealth, accuracy with the bow, cunning with the snares, knowledge of the hunting ground and prey? Sure, you can do without nice manners and fancy talk, but who cares about such nonsense? Ciliel Nightlake. Snaring hares, knifing boars, and silently stalking deer in the depths of the forest with arrows on their bowstrings. Hunters live for the hunt and the catch. Killing one's prey in a respectful manner and making use of all its parts for food, clothes, tools, and weapons is a sacred calling for all true hunters. Their home and destiny are in the wilds, the magnificent, untamed, and cruel. That is where they find peace of mind and gather their strength. That is where their ruthless gods dwell. Many hunters are therefore quite solitary, and sometimes find it difficult to behave properly among people. A hunter's key attribute is agility. The profession skill list includes acrobatics, awareness, bows, bushcraft, hunting and fishing, knives, slings, sneaking. A hunter's heroic ability is companion. The D6 gear list includes a number of options for daggers or knives and a ranged weapon, leather armor, and other material useful for hunting, fishing, or trapping. And finally, their D6 table of sample nicknames include such names as Wolfbane or Shadowbolt. The companion heroic ability has a requirement of hunting and fishing 12 for those that want to acquire this ability after character generation. The willpower point cost is 3, and the ability reads as follows. You can activate this ability to turn an animal, not a monster, into your companion. This takes a stretch of time, and you can only have one animal companion at a time. The GM decides which animals are nearby. See the list on page 99. The animal follows you as long as you remain in its natural environment, and it can scout for you at no additional willpower point cost. For 3 additional willpower points, you can command the animal to attack an enemy. Free action for you. So, having covered all of the aspects of the hunter profession as written, let me just add a few notes and a bonus opinion, if I may. Real quick, if you look at the gear tables, they each contain something called in the table a sleeping pelt, but there is no such thing as a sleeping pelt in the equipment, in the gear section. Under trade goods, there is a sleeping fur, and that is the name that should be used and written down in your inventory rather than sleeping pelt. I think there was a little bit of a mix-up, and in Forbidden Lands there is a distinction between pelts and furs. If I remember correctly, let's say like if a rabbit is snared or hunted and skinned and tanned, the skin is a pelt. But the pelt from one rabbit alone would be insufficient to protect you from the cold at night. So it's kind of a crafting component or material, and so several of these pelts would be stitched together to make one sleeping fur, and that's what you're looking for, is the item, the finished item that you use to protect yourself from the cold when making bushcraft rolls for camping. All right, item 2 is in the core set, and also in the free quick start adventure, the Sinking Tower, there are pre-generated characters, and the hunter in those pre-generated characters does not have the companion heroic ability. Rather, she has the twin shot heroic ability. And as I mentioned in the first video on professions, there is an optional rule called alternative abilities. So I don't know exactly what occurred to have the pre-generated character not have the standard heroic ability for the hunter, but it's certainly a fun thing, and I think it's a good example of the use of the optional rule, because you may want to be a hunter, and having an animal companion may be a fantastic thing that you enjoy that fiction and that type of character, or it may be something that you don't want to deal with. So here are two options for the hunter character: the standard companion or heroic ability, or an alternate heroic ability of twin shot. Twin shot, by the way, has a requirement of bows 12 for those that are adding the heroic ability after the fact, after character generation. Willpower points cost is 3, and by activating this ability when attacking with a bow, not crossbow, you shoot 2 arrows instead of 1. Roll just once to hit with a bane. Damage is rolled separately. The arrows can be directed at the same target or 2 different targets. So pretty straightforward and bow-based. And finally, for the opinion, I will just say for the companion heroic ability is it's a little involved and requires a little bit of adjudication between the game master and the player of how it's going to work out. The option for having your animal companion attack is pretty straightforward, but the part about having your companion scouting and even which animals are available and how that works we kind of determined by how the game master runs that. So my opinion is that this should be hashed out ahead of time. So if a player's looking to have a hunter or other character with the companion heroic ability, think it through and kind of determine in general terms how this is going to work. Will there be opportunities from time to time to come across tracks or spores of different animals that the hunter can use for scouting? This is not magic, so some players may be more familiar with familiars, like wizard familiars, which are magical. And the way I run the companions, like there's no telepathy, between you and the companion. And your companion going on a scouting, you can't see through its eyes like, you would with a familiar in Dungeons and Dragons. So I would allow it more to be like adding boons to certain things with this animal helping you along. It may be able to detect things a little bit ahead of time, providing you can have line of sight with this animal scout, and get a boon to a spot hidden or an awareness or even a bushcraft roll. Or in some cases, it might just be like an alarm. So you're moving along and you see your animal companion up ahead or in a tree, depending on what type of animal it is. And it's giving off warning signs, maybe if it's a squirrel, it's got a twitching tail, saying danger, danger, And so that'll give your party the heads up to slow things down, look around, what's going on, maybe avoid an ambush or a surprise by enemies. There is a spell that animus mages do get, Animal Whisperer, which does allow a mage to talk with a bird or mammal, and I give certain benefits to both of these things. So if you can actually talk with the animal, you'll be able to pass more information back and forth, more specific information. And with the companion heroic ability, you have more of an ability to invite the animal to assist you. So each of these things have their place, but they are separate. Although a character could, an animus mage could later on gain the companion ability, heroic ability, or a hunter, depending on your campaign and how you treat magic. But by the game rules, a hunter or any character could learn magic and gain a heroic ability to to be able to do that, to go into and become, to be able to learn animism. So there you go, food for thought. The main point, though, is that make sure that everybody's on the same page, so you don't have to wait for the time when somebody is actually trying to use this and they find out it's not going to work the way they thought it was, and then there'll be a much bigger problem. If you talk about it ahead of time, you can cut that off at the pass. First, you must believe in something. Then you must be prepared to fight and die for this something. Finally, you need to study, train, and practice until you reach the heights of a worthy champion. After that, you are ready to obey and serve. Gloriel Sunstreak. Knights are warriors who have sworn fealty to a higher power, such as an order of knights, a liege lord, or a god. This oath of fealty lies at the heart of their worldview and existence. It always includes rules and principles the knight must obey in thought and deed. Demands for chivalry and a noble mind are often combined with an implacable hatred for anything deemed contrary to the spirit of the oath. Many knights are part of an order, but there are also lone knights who have devoted their lives to defending something specific, perhaps a person or a place, that gives their lives a higher purpose. A knight's key attribute is strength. The profession skill list includes beast lore, hammers, myths and legends, performance, persuasion, riding, spears, and swords. A knight's heroic ability is Guardian. Like all professions, the knight has a table of gear to either randomly decide or to choose from. You're, of course, free to choose however you like, but it should be noted for the knight, above all other professions, has access to some quite costly and rare items. Specifically in the first row, if choosing here for your gear, you're provided with plate armor and a great helm. These are both rare items. Plate armor normally has a cost of 500 gold, and a great helm 100 gold. For comparison, the chainmail and open helm that you would receive under either of the other two rows, the chainmail is 50 gold cost, and an open helm is 12 gold. Also, in the last row, the 5 to 6, this knight is provided with a lance and a combat-trained horse. A combat-trained horse is also a rare possession with a cost of 400 gold. So these are just things to keep in mind. And you may want to talk to your game master as well before making the choice to see if being equipped with such costly items is going to potentially make you a target for for bandits and such. You'll be well equipped to handle your fight against the bandits, but your confrontations may be more frequent. And finally, we have the table of sample nicknames, including such things as Gold Lance and Gleam Helm. The Guardian heroic ability has a requirement of axes, hammers, or swords 12 for those that are adding this heroic ability after character generation. The willpower point cost is 2, and the ability reads as follows. You do not hesitate to take a hit to protect your friends. If you and another player character are both within 2 meters of the same enemy and the enemy tries to attack the other character, you can activate this ability to force the enemy to attack you instead. Using this ability can be done out of turn and does not count as an action. And so, my friends, until I resurface, may your successes be many and your failures be memorable.